Hello, and thank you for watching this regional forecast for the Corn Belt. I'm Andrew Pritchard, Senior Meteorologist with Nutrien Ag Solutions. Well, as we check out temperatures across the Corn Belt, across the central U.S., quite a contrast. We've got warm and humid air across the central plains, cooler, less humid air still filtering into the Great Lakes and the eastern Corn Belt, recording this video here in Champaign, where it's 55 degrees here at the dew point in the low 50s as well. So a beautiful, crisp morning out there across parts of Illinois, Wisconsin, Michigan, the eastern Corn Belt, Indiana, and Ohio. But as you head west, parts of the central plains from the Gulf Coast north to the Dakotas, temperatures already in the 70s, if not the 80s in some places here, with dew points in the 60s and 70s as well. As we check out the satellite picture with lightning activity overlaid there, where it is warm and humid, we have scattered showers and storms ongoing through the overnight into the early morning hours. Then as you head off to the east, where it's cool and less humid, we've got sunny skies as we start the day. So again, across parts of Iowa, Missouri, Illinois, eastward into Indiana, Ohio, and Michigan, a beautiful sunny start to the Friday morning here. But then as you head west, parts of the southern plains and northward into the Dakotas, a stormy start to our Friday morning. We can see that here with the radar picture. Again, a cluster of storms in South Dakota, another cluster of storms across parts of Kansas, Oklahoma, and Arkansas. Quiet as you head east across the eastern Corn Belt. And as we look at the hazards map, pretty quiet as well. It's actually very quiet across the Corn Belt. We've got red flag warnings across the west, where it is hot, dry, and windy. But again, no advisories in effect across the Corn Belt here from the Dakotas eastward into the eastern Corn Belt. We do have the risk for some severe storms, though, as we head through each and every afternoon, evening, and overnight through the weekend, starting with a slight risk in North Dakota into northern Minnesota today. That would be the top left. Here's Friday. Let's go ahead and mark that in black. That will show up better than white here. Saturday, and then we've got Sunday. So Saturday, tomorrow, looking at a slight risk across parts of South Dakota into Nebraska. And then on Sunday, once again, off to the northern plains in the upper Midwest, parts of the Dakotas into northern Minnesota with that slight risk, a marginal risk extending down into parts of the central plains. Now we're going to take a look at several different precipitation forecasts here, and my main point here is really to call out the potential for some rain across the state of Iowa. This is an area that badly needs it. We'll check out the drought monitor there, and it just all signs point to Iowa needing some rain, especially west central portions of Iowa. And we're looking at here is the week 1 precipitation forecast from the National Weather Service. So this is one that has been massaged by some of our meteorologists here at the National Weather Service. So it's not just straight model output, so you can kind of trust it a little bit better here. But that is some bad news as we look at Iowa. We're looking at the precipitation forecast across the Corn Belt here. You're seeing a bullseye here across parts of Minnesota and Wisconsin, where we're seeing repeated rounds of storms this weekend. As we head into the early part of the week, we'll be looking for additional storms across parts of the mid-Mississippi Valley here as a frontal boundary stalls in the region. But the Weather Prediction Center, the National Weather Service here, kind of leaving a gap in the heavier precipitation here across the state of Iowa, where we badly need it. As I go ahead and put the newest drought monitor up there again, conditions really pretty all right across the Corn Belt here. Now, we've talked about some dryness in the eastern Corn Belt. We really kind of dropped some rainfall in most of that area as we talk about the last 7 to 14 days. That's kind of pushed things back to stage 0 or 1 drought across that region. But all the way into D3, extreme drought now across parts of western Iowa. So we really need to get some rainfall in there. And I'm here to tell you, though, even though this forecast up here, even though this looks pretty bad, you might want to throw your arms up in the air if you're in west central Iowa looking at this. I'm going to show you that all hope is not lost at this point, because we've got multiple opportunities to bring some rainfall into this area over the next 5 to 7 days. So what we're looking at here is the ensemble forecast probability of picking up a half an inch or more between now and Wednesday evening. On the left, we have the European ensemble. On the right, we have the American GFS ensemble. Now, the bad news is here, the GFS has maybe performed just slightly better than the European ensemble here over the last couple of weeks. The good news is, this is just not a pattern that I'm going to trust either model 100%, more than the other. We got to go with a blend here, and when we look at the European model, again, we see pretty good chance here, above 50% from the Dakotas southeastward into the mid-Mississippi Valley there, including the state of Iowa, including west central Iowa, and a better than 50% chance of picking up half an inch of rainfall over the next 5 days. Now, as we look at the GFS, it goes back to the corridor thing, which makes me think that the National Weather Service, again, also buying the GFS a little bit more here with the north and south bullseyes here, with the heaviest precipitation falling from the Dakotas into the upper Midwest, the upper Great Lakes, and then that other bullseye as we head into the early part of next week across the mid-Mississippi Valley, kind of leaving Iowa out. Well, here's the pattern, though, and this is why I don't lose faith here in west central Iowa picking up some rainfall as we head through the next 7 days. Maybe not enough to bust the entire drought, but let's just kind of dive into what the pattern's looking like. So we'll follow the height lines. We're looking at 500 millibar vorticity here in the atmosphere. We're looking at the European operational model. If we follow the height lines here, our jet stream doing something like this. We got our ridge here across the southwest. We got a big trough right now making its way across the Canadian Prairie, coming up and over the top of that ridge. Let's go ahead and put this into motion then, because we can watch that first system move through the Canadian Prairie. That's going to drag a front through the region. So here we go into Saturday night. We're getting into Sunday. We're seeing the chance for these thunderstorm clusters flaring up primarily across the Dakotas and the upper Midwest here as we head through the first part of the weekend. But as this trough begins to blast eastward across the prairie, it is going to drag a cold front across the region that's going to bring a chance of thunderstorms to the state of Iowa and surrounding portions of the upper Midwest and the Great Lakes. As this frontal boundary moves through, though, as this trough pushes off to the east, we're going to then stall the frontal boundary back across the central Corn Belt back into the northern plains. As we then watch this first trough move off to the east, we've got another one coming in from the west across parts of British Columbia and Alberta. But in between those two, we've got our ridge of high pressure, our axis back here across the Four Corners region. And we're going to see little disturbances, little ridge riding disturbances coming up and over the top of that, interacting with this frontal boundary, bringing a renewed chance each and every day for shower and thunderstorm clusters to develop from the central plains, racing off to the east-southeast across the central Corn Belt. Now, as we head into the later part of the week, we're getting into Thursday and Friday now. This frontal boundary still stalled across the region. We're then going to bring trough number 2 across the region. So here we go. We're getting into Thursday and Friday of next week. Here comes our next big system across the Canadian Prairie. This, too, will drag a cold front across the region, bringing a chance for showers and storms along that. So let's look at this in another way. What's going on then when we're doing all of this? Well, again, we're starting to funnel moisture back into the central plains, warm and humid as we get the weekend started there with that cooler, drier air still lingering across the Great Lakes and the eastern Corn Belt. But we'll turn that over as we head into the weekend. We're going to start to bring that humid air mass back into the eastern Corn Belt, into this region right here, where we'll be taking disturbances, first in the form of a cold front, which you can actually watch move across the region here. As we're into Sunday now. Here comes the cold front. Monday, and now it kind of stalls right across this region. You see, let me change the color over to blue. The cold front stalls back across this region. We're now taking disturbances up and over the top of that ridge, interacting with this boundary, bringing that chance for showers and storms as we head through the early part of the week. Take the drawings off once again, watching this warm and humid air mass just kind of sitting across this region. Now, as this is happening, again, disturbances are moving over the top of that. It just takes a little disturbance in the upper levels to kick off a cluster of showers and storms across this region. This is just something that the weather models, the computers, they do a great job of understanding the pattern, but it's on the edge of our science here, picking up where exactly these clusters of storms are going to form, where their outflow is going to propagate and take them. So again, my forecast here is showing you the hope, the potential, and the reasoning here why I think we've got multiple chances to bring some rainfall into western Iowa. We're all the way into next weekend now, Saturday and Sunday. So again, low confidence here, but here comes that next front from the Canadian Prairie sweeping down into the region, potentially stalling again. So really, as we go through the weekend into early next week, mid next week, maybe even late next week, we really keep the chance for almost daily thunderstorms across the state of Iowa, back into the Dakotas, and then eastward into the eastern Corn Belt. So plenty of opportunities across this entire region to pick up some significant precipitation in some regions. Let's go ahead then. Let's look at the actual precipitation forecast. I've shown you the hope. Let's look at what the weather models are saying right now. We'll start with the high-resolution NAM model, bringing it through Friday afternoon and evening. We'll watch for shower and storms with the severe weather threat the highest across the north here, the parts of the Dakotas into northern Minnesota. May look for a cluster of storms to ignite across parts of eastern North Dakota into northern Minnesota with a chance for some heavy rainfall in that region, maybe some damaging wind gusts as well. Now, this could turn into an MCS that dies off to the south-southeast during the overnight, sweeping through parts of Minnesota and Wisconsin as we head into Saturday morning. Now, what happens off to the east across this region as we get into Saturday afternoon and evening into the overnight, I've got very low confidence in. This one wants to take the remnants here. You kind of see what happens. The outflow continues off to the south and to the east as these thunderstorms kind of die out. you can imagine that their guts, the outflow, the remnants there of that rain-cooled air still kind of sit across this region even after the storms have died out. The high-resolution NAM model then erupts a cluster of thunderstorms across central Illinois Saturday night into Sunday morning along that outflow boundary. I'll tell you right now, the high-resolution NAM model is the only model that's doing that right now. Most of our other high-resolution guidance keeps central Illinois dry Saturday night into Sunday, so that's something we'll have to watch. But higher confidence in the thunderstorm activity back to the north and to the west as we get into Saturday night. Thunderstorms igniting across parts of South Dakota and Nebraska. We talked about the slight risk in place there. Those thunderstorms will then track off to the west, and what do you know, they could make their way into western Iowa, so that could be a chance for some heavy rainfall as we get into Saturday night and Sunday morning. Again, these models, every 6 hours, we're going to get a new update here, and it's going to show you something a little bit different. So, you're seeing these storms maybe track off to the northeast of our driest areas in Iowa. That may not actually be the case. We may get these storms to bring some rainfall into the area. So I'm spending too much time on the details. I'm telling you not to worry about the details, and here I go focusing on them. Let's take a look at the total precipitation put forth by the high-resolution NAM model. Again, I got good confidence in that heavy rainfall across this region. There's been a signal for a large cluster of thunderstorms from parts of the eastern Dakotas into Minnesota and Wisconsin Friday night into Saturday for several days now. So high confidence in this rainfall here Friday into Saturday. Low confidence here with this Saturday night into Sunday thunderstorm cluster. And then medium confidence here on our Saturday night into Sunday morning thunderstorm cluster from the Central Plains into potentially western and central Iowa. Now let's take a little bit of a expanded view here with the European model. We'll take this a little bit further into next week. This will give us another version of what's going to happen this weekend. Again, high confidence tonight into Saturday morning for that thunderstorm from the some thunderstorm cluster from the eastern Dakotas into Minnesota and Wisconsin, perhaps northern Iowa. This could bring some widespread rainfall, perhaps some widespread damaging wind gusts as we head into the overnight as well. Again, good confidence in these thunderstorms dying out as they push into eastern Iowa and northern Illinois overnight tonight. Low confidence, or this will be overnight into tomorrow morning, and then low confidence here and maybe a cluster of thunderstorms trying to flare up late Saturday into Sunday morning across central Illinois. Here we've got our Saturday night into Sunday morning thunderstorm clusters. This one taking a little bit further north than the NAM model. So this is one that's leaving Iowa dry as we get through the weekend. We're now into Sunday night, watching for another thunderstorm cluster. Remember, we have a slight risk in place across the upper Midwest once again on Sunday, looking for widespread storms across parts of Minnesota and Wisconsin, perhaps south into Iowa. This is as our front starts sweeping across the region. We now stall the frontal boundary across the Central Plains, taking disturbances up and over the top of the ridge into this region. Daily chances for thunderstorms across this boundary then as we head into early next week. We're into Tuesday now. Looking for more thunderstorms flaring up again. Just watch this boundary each and every day. Getting into Wednesday, now getting into Thursday, and then here comes our next system across the Canadian Prairie. That's going to bring another cold front across the region, bringing additional chances for storms as we head into Friday and Saturday of next week. So again, you're seeing it every day. We have the chance to bring some thunderstorms to this area that badly needs it across parts of Iowa and then surrounding areas that are maybe teetering on that dry line. So again, we'll look at the GFS in a slightly different way. That was the European model. I told you that maybe trusting the GFS a little bit more at this point. Here's our Friday precip tomorrow, getting into Sunday. Monday, here we go. Here's the front moving across the region. We'll then stall that across the eastern Corn Belt back toward the northern plains. This will be looking at now Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, daily thunderstorms across that front. Friday, here comes our next system then as we get into Saturday. We'll look at the thunderstorm environment being put forth by the GFS here with our internal thunderstorm environment index. As we head through the afternoon and evening hours today, highest threat for some strong storms across the Dakotas. We'll take this into Saturday afternoon and evening. Look at that, a volatile environment along the front and then back across the Central Plains. So where we see that front interacting with that volatile environment, again, northern plains, sound into the Central Plains, South Dakota, into Nebraska, the best chance for some strong storms Saturday night, with those potentially moving off to the east into the Sunday morning. So Sunday afternoon, very volatile environment. Watch for a widespread area of thunderstorms across parts of the eastern Dakotas into Minnesota. Another chance for some storms across parts of Iowa as we head especially into Sunday night, into Monday morning. And then on Monday, we start to bring that cold front off to the south. We'll see the best chance for Monday thunderstorms across parts of the mid-Mississippi Valley into the eastern Corn Belt. And again, the chance for some severe storms in there as well. So side by side, the European on the left, GFS on the right, we're looking at the raw operational model output. And again, both of these models are showing the same pattern, but they're both showing different specifics when it comes to the details. You can kind of pick out this corridor here on the European. You can pick out the same kind of corridor here with the GFS, where again, in each of these situations, the state of Iowa has a chance to get some rather significant precipitation. The GFS over on the right bringing an inch or two of rainfall to west central Iowa. The European over on the left bringing a couple hundredths of an inch. So again, just the models have the pattern. They have the opportunity for some rainfall here in west central Iowa, but each of them is just going to handle it a little different each time the model is run. So my main message to you here is we've got hope. We have many opportunities over the next 7 days to mitigate some of the dryness here in the state of Iowa. Don't fall into the trap of, living and dying with each precipitation forecast that you see put forth. Let's quickly finish up with a look at our temperatures. Again, cooler and drier across the eastern Corn Belt, but that will not last long as we head into the day Saturday. 80s return, upper 80s back by Sunday. Here comes our front on Monday. We then stall that front on Tuesday into early next week with the chance for showers and storms lingering as we head into the end of the week. Have a great day, a wonderful weekend, and we'll talk to you once again on Monday morning.